Why should handheld sweep measurements of sound be precisely one whole sweep? When you do field measurements as a consultant, the sweep method is very common, at least to my knowledge. And here's a typical situation where you have your sound level meter. It's basically a microphone that you sweep around yourself, and you do a sweep path. I've mentioned it before in my videos, but think of it as a 3/4 of a outline of a Coca-Cola can. So you start here, you go 3/4 of a whole revolution, then you go up, and then you do the same thing up here, and then you come back down there. So this is your sweep path. And the reason you do this is because you wanna get a good room average, because the sound field can be very different for various spatial positions in the room, especially in lower frequencies. It's very important to do this. If you just put the microphone in your room and you get a reading, it could work out okay if it is a diffuse sound field, which it is for higher frequencies often. But when you go to the low frequency region, it's definitely not diffuse, and that's why you need to get a good room average. So the basic idea of doing a sweep is that you can either make several fixed positions and you do a room average of, let's say, 5 different microphone positions where you measure like 15 seconds in each position. And if you have a 5-channel system, you can do one measurement and measure all 5 at once. But if you only have one microphone, it's probably more effective to do a sweep. And then you measure for like 30 seconds and you do a whole revolution like this. Now, why is it important to do precisely one whole sweep path? So that when the timer ticks out at 30 seconds, you should end up like 27, 28, 29, 30, and you're back where you started. That's the dream scenario. Because if you don't, the sound field in the room can look something like this. You have very strong sound pressure level regions, and you got some more quiet regions typically in the middle. And this will change a lot depending on the room's dimensions, length, width, and height, and different for different frequencies. And that means that there will be zones in the room where you get very high sound pressure levels, and there will be zones where it's almost dead silent. And then when you sweep through these, the sound pressure level that's recorded, if you would look at it with the time on the x-axis in seconds, when you do a sweep like this, and then you have perhaps the sound pressure level here. If you do this in the diffuse sound field at the higher frequencies, you're gonna get pretty much the same sound pressure level for the whole sweep, even though that you move it around. So this is diffuse sound field. But if you do the same thing in the low frequency region, where you have the room resonances and the eigenfrequencies, your sweep will look like this when you look at it. It's gonna go up and down and up and down. If you have some software where you can try it out, it's really good thing to know about this. So this is what do you call this one? Low frequency region. Let's call it the room resonance region. That's what you're gonna end up with. Now, if you then do the sweep and you don't, let's say you come here like 27, 28, 29, and then you start a new revolution, so maybe you end up here on a second sweep path. You just continue along the path. But what happens then is that if you then misinterpret your sweep speed so that you arrive a bit too early and you got 3 seconds left, and then you just continue out on the same path for a second one, and that means you will oversample this region. And if this one is a pressure maxima like this, like let's say that this part of the sweep happens to end up here, then you will oversample this region where the sound is very strong, and that will have an effect on the measured sound pressure level. So I always try to be very precise with my sweeps and to make sure that I end up just as the timer hits 30 seconds, I'm back where I'm started. And one way of doing it could be like if you divide it, let's say you got 10 seconds, then you should be here, 5 seconds up, 10 seconds here, and then 5 seconds down. And when you've done this a couple of thousands of times like I have, it's like you get it in the back of your head. You're like a machine with the sweep speed. It's very precise. But when you're a rookie, it's actually quite difficult to do a constant sweep speed every time and make sure that it's exactly 30 seconds. But it also helps to have the sound level meter, so that you can see the timer of the sound measurement, how it's counting. And if you have the meter in your hand like this, it's quite difficult to see what the timer is showing. So that's why I always use a selfie stick, and I just keep the sound level meter in one hand and then a selfie stick with a microphone to the pole in the other end. So I can just look at the screen and I can easily see the time when I'm sweeping around like this, and then I come back. So it's a beautiful solution. It solves many problems. Yes, and this of course is not just for sound insulation measurements. It's like walking sound, impact sound insulation, airborne sound insulation. If you're gonna do some sweep for installation sound, sometimes you need to do that as well. So then it's also all the low frequency sounds that you're measuring, you need to know about this. Otherwise your measurement quality will suffer. And in today's video, I'm wearing this piece of it's part of a 3-piece suit. This jacket is a really nice one. A white shirt, orange knit tie, one of my favorites. I really love the color of this. I think it's some silk, 100% silk knit tie. Very nice one. They get a lot of mileage. And then a little green pocket square with some blue and some white and dark blue. And I got some navy blue and a black belt here. So, but first, when I was putting this together, I went for this one, because this is a pretty cool pocket square to use with an outfit like this, because you just pick up the outline with a tie. So you get the harmony with these two together. And you got blue, you got white, you got this really dark blue, which could even be interpreted as black. So this is a really good combination with all the other colors on my outfit. But then I guess I'm starting to become a bit more brave lately. So I thought, no, wait a minute, I want to do something else. So I add some green here. So now I've got blue, green, orange, brown, white, a lot of colors, but it comes together quite nicely. I like this. I like this combination a lot. So these pocket squares are, what's it called? Paisley pattern, if I remember correctly. But you see, they're pretty much the same. But this little outline, it's such a exquisite little detail, which it's like when the chef put the final spice in the food, so it's just perfect. So these ones are great. Both of these would have worked actually, but today I really preferred this one because it gives it even more. It's a bit more interesting. And yeah, have a nice weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.